So, you've got a Python technical interview on the horizon? Awesome. Let's get you powered up. Over the next few minutes, we're going to blitz through some of the core concepts that interviewers absolutely love to ask about, so you can walk into that room feeling totally confident.
Look, it's one thing to say, Python, but it's a whole other thing to really show it, especially when the pressure's on. And that's exactly what we're focusing on today, turning what you know into clean, impressive code that really makes you stand out.
Here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the big picture, then jump into some quick syntax wins that'll make your code sparkle. After that, we'll dive into the real logic with code flow and data structures, and we'll wrap up with something super important that shows your currency, the whole Python 2 versus 3 divide. All right, first up, the big picture. An interviewer doesn't just want to know what you can do with Python. They want to know if you get why it's so popular. So let's take a quick look at where it's used, because that context, it really explains everything about its design. And man, you can see its versatility right here. It's the absolute king in data science and machine learning. But it also runs the back end of tons of websites, and it handles everything from scraping web data to building actual desktop apps. This kind of flexibility is exactly why so many companies are looking for Python devs.
Okay, let's get into some quick wins. Interviewers love seeing what we call Pythonic code. Code that's not just functional, but also clean, efficient, and just feels right. These next couple of shortcuts are perfect examples.
First on the list, multiple assignment. Why waste time writing 3 separate lines to create 3 variables when Python lets you do it all in one go? It's a small thing for sure, but it instantly shows an interviewer that you're comfortable and fluent in the language.
And here it is. Just look how clean and readable that is. In one single line, Python just knows A gets 14, B gets 15, and C gets 16. It's short, it's sweet, and it's super efficient.
Next up, let's talk about building strings. You know how messy it can get when you're trying to jam variables and strings together with a bunch of plus signs? It gets ugly, fast. Well, the format method is a much cleaner way to do it.
So, how's it work? It's simple. You just create these little placeholders with curly braces. You can see them there for fname and age. Then, the .format method just neatly slots in the values you give it. Your original string stays super easy to read.
All right, we've got some slick syntax down. Now let's actually make our programs do something interesting. That means we need to control the flow of the code. And the most fundamental tool for that job is the loop. Think of the for loop as your workhorse. It's what you use anytime you need to go through a collection of items one by one. Doesn't matter if it's a list of names, numbers, or even the characters in a word, the for loop handles it with ease. So let's see it in action. First, we need something to loop through. We'll use this really simple list here. It's just got 2 strings in it, code and window. Now for the loop itself. The structure is dead simple. For some temporary variable, we're calling ours iterator var, in our sequence. For every single item inside that sequence, the code inside the loop is gonna run. In this case, we're just gonna print the item.
And here's what happens. The first time through, iterator var becomes code, and so code gets printed to the screen. The second time, it becomes window, and window gets printed. After that, it sees it's at the end of the list, and the loop just stops. Simple, right? But so powerful.
A huge part of programming isn't just writing code, it's about storing and organizing your data effectively. Python gives you some fantastic built-in tools for this, but a good interviewer wants to see if you know how to pick the right tool for the job. So imagine this. The interviewer gives you a problem, and you need to store some data. What do you reach for? A list? A tuple? Maybe a set or a dictionary? Your choice says a lot about how deeply you understand these core data structures.
This table right here, this is your interview cheat sheet. Let's walk through it. See that mutable row? That's just a fancy word for changeable. You can mess with lists, sets, and dictionaries all you want after you create them. But tuples, they're locked in stone, immutable. Then you've got things like order, or if they allow duplicates. Knowing these differences is what shows an interviewer you can think critically and pick the most efficient tool for their problem.
All right, last topic, and this is a big one. This instantly tells an interviewer if you're a modern Python developer. Even though Python 2 is basically a museum piece now, knowing the key ways it's different from Python 3 is absolutely critical. Okay, this is probably the most famous difference of all, print. Back in Python 2, it was a statement. You just wrote print and then whatever you wanted to show. But in Python 3, it grew up and became a proper function, which means you have to use those parentheses. It's a small change, but it's an immediate giveaway in an interview.
And here's another classic gotcha. the division operator. In Python 2, if you divided two whole numbers, you got a whole number back. It literally just chopped off the decimal. So 7 divided by 5 was 1. Python 3, on the other hand, does what you'd actually expect and gives you the real answer, 1.4. This is a subtle one, but man, it can cause some really nasty bugs if you don't know it's a thing.
So there you have it. From clean syntax and loops to data structures and version differences, these are the power-ups that will really help you shine. The main takeaway is this. Getting these fundamentals down cold is the foundation for everything else you'll do in Python. Keep practicing these and you're going to do great. Good luck!